Hi everyone. After watching Dr. Bergman's video about tips for generating a prompt for AI, I thought I'd walk you through this process as well so that you can practice doing some prompt engineering on your own. What I've done here is I've created a summary of Dr. Bergman's steps, his 7 tips. One, he talks about telling the AI what persona, what the role is going to be that they're going to assume, whether it's a 10th grade geometry teacher or a 5th grade teacher, the task that they're going to do. I want you to create a set of questions. I want you to develop a lesson plan that's based on the principles of UDL. You want to give it some context about why you're doing this, and then how you format and how you want it to be presented back to you so that you can do something with it. And he also gave some tips in addition to that kind of are very helpful, such as making sure you're writing positive statements, things that you want the AI to do, and to try to avoid using things you don't want it to do, not using "don't do this." It's more effective to say, please make it a bulleted list, instead of saying don't use paragraphs. Sometimes it's easier to go step by step, to be conversational, creating that human in the loop aspect of it. And so you can ask clarifying questions and then you can improve on parts of it. And we'll talk a little bit about that and hopefully show you some examples. And it's oftentimes helpful to provide an example of what you want it to have. For example, in the video he talked about abbreviations, and he said, for example, Pennsylvania's abbreviated PA. I've uploaded sample documents to say make it formatted like this sample document, and it will closely approximate that document. So providing examples does help make the output a lot more accurate to what you're hoping that you're going to get from it. So what I've done is I've taken his tips, and I've been using this ChatGPT cheat sheet that I got from one of the many online AI newsletters, and I've boiled it down to 3 parts. We're going to use a role. We're going to define the role, which is akin to his persona, and then we're just going to boil it down to the task, which would include the context of what you're going to ask, give the background of information to the AI, and of course format how we want it to be output, and that will depend of course on the task that we want it to do. And all of this is, again, keeping the human in the loop, that we are making sure that whatever comes out is reliable. So we'll have that conversational piece, we'll have that step by step, we will iterate over things to make it more accurate, and to question, are you sure this is accurate? Tell me why you feel this is accurate. And so what I've got for you today is we're going to generate some text-dependent questions in the social studies. And in this particular example, we're going to do the War of 1812, which is going to be, in our example that I'm going to share, an 8th grade assessment that we're going to put together. And so let's just walk through the 3 parts. So the role here is we're going to tell the AI, and in this case we're going to use ChatGPT, that you are going to be a social studies teacher working with 8th grade students teaching the War of 1812. All right, so that's the role. So now we talk about the task. I will give you an article about the War of 1812, and I would like you to generate 5 text-dependent questions, which are DOK level 2, 3, or 4. So we're looking to get more than just their level 1 questions. We want a little bit more of a higher order thinking, and so that gives it the task, as well as a little bit of context as well. And then, of course, we want to feed it the URL. This is going to be an article from Encyclopedia Britannica. So we're going to talk about the output. So what we want it to do is to, after each question, we want it to provide a sample student response for the question based only on the text. And so it's important to clarify that you want it only on the text of the article, because chat will obviously pull in other information about the War of 1812. But because we want the students to use the text, we need to tell ChatGPT to only use the text. And then I wanted to give an explanation as to why why chat feels it's an appropriate answer to the question. And again, here's my human in the loop. I want to know why it gave that. I want to see if I agree. The great part about having the display is I can always copy and paste it into a Word document or a Google document, and I can edit out the parts that I think need to be adjusted. But finally, and here's a pro tip that I recommend to everybody, is always add some sort of prompt at the end of your prompt. Just say, ask me clarifying questions about the task before beginning. What this does is it will get ChatGPT to make you think about things that you might not have thought about. And it's surprising some of the details it'll ask about that will help keep your prompt to be very effective, and it will get the output closer to what you want to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this prompt will generate, and I'll go ahead and put this into the prompt GPT right here. Okay, so you can see I've copied and pasted the prompt into ChatGPT, just like I went through it on the slides. And let's see what it says. All right, so it's giving us 2 questions. Do I want all 5 questions to be text dependent, or do I want to mix some relying on prior knowledge? Great question. If it's a text dependent question, obviously we want it dependent on the text. So I'll just respond to it. Please make it dependent only on the text of the article. Okay, and that will help avoid pulling in some additional information about the War of 1812 that it's been trained on. Okay, so it's going to ask me to verify the rigor. I said 2 to 4, so it wants to know, is it going to be mostly 3 or 4, or a couple gentler ones? Let's go for a balance spread. I like that idea. It says once it tells me the preferences, it'll go ahead and generate the 5 questions with student responses. So let's see. As you can see, it's giving me question number 1. It's saying that this is a question DOK level 2. Here's the question, the sample response, and then here's the rationale as why it believes that this is a good example of a DOK2. And so I'll just go through, here's 3, 4, 5 questions. So this is the point where you would just go through, you would read and verify. If you as the social studies teacher or whatever content that you're asking the questions about feel that this is good, you can improve it, you can tweak it, or you can just use it to get your ideas and your thinking started, be that spark and that catalyst, and that allows you to really supercharge your lesson planning and gets everything moving in a direction that is kind of takes some of that cognitive load off of planning that can make life a little bit easier. Okay, and one of the things that ChatGPT will often do is ask you if it wants to do other things for you. So right now here at the bottom, do you want a student-facing worksheet or discussion guide, a printable one-page handout for written responses? So let me ask it to make it a student-facing worksheet so that the students can write their answers and generate that template as a Word document. Okay, so I've typed in my prompt. I wanted to make it a student-facing worksheet that is going to be in Microsoft Word format. Again, I've asked it to ask me any questions, and let's see what it does. Okay, so now it's asking me a layout and design style. Typically what I'll do is I'll just say layout, each question followed by a blank, use a simple clean design, no header needed, but do include a title and a name date line. Leave roughly half a page. Okay, so these are all good things that I didn't think about. And so by asking ChatGPT in the prompt to say, ask me questions before beginning, helps me think. So we're completely being, we're co-planning, we're co-creating here along with ChatGPT. So let's see what it makes. All right, so here it is. Let's see what it looks like. Let's download it. Okay, well look, it's already formatted for us. This because it's in Microsoft Word, I can now go in and edit things. I can clarify things. I do notice that it's got a little bit of a double numbering system here, which is fine. I can tweak it, but what ChatGPT has done is it allows me to do 50% of the work for me, and then I can just take it from here. So I hope you find this back and forth conversation style of using LLM large language models to be helpful. ChatGPT is a great tool, so is Google Gemini. Copilot is one, Perplexity, there's a lot of them out there. School AI has Dot now. Magic School has Reina. So these are things that you can just have conversations with and really make your time more efficient.